One of the things that you and I have spoken about before we hit record was psychosocial safety. And it is a term that's used a lot in the workplace right now. There's new legislation that has been released as well. What's your definition of psychosocial safety?
I don't have a problem with people when they say mental health. People say, "Oh, shouldn't you say mental ill health, David?" And I say, "Well, we all know what we're talking about." And I think that's the key. Once you start talking about it and normalizing it, that has reduced the stigma. My ultimate test is this. If you see an individual go into a manager's office, do you all secretly sit there and go, "Ooh, Mick's in trouble"? Or do you just think that would be a normal interaction?
I'm greatly honoured today to be joined by David Dilger. David is the co-founder of an organisation called Edge Legal, and they look to empower employer and employee relationships by challenging traditional and sometimes very rigid HR systems to create amazing cultures and amazing workplaces where people don't fear any kind of legal ramifications, where people can create an amazing workplace where people fall in love with their jobs again. One of the things that you and I have spoken about before we hit record was psychosocial safety. And it is a term that's used a lot in the workplace right now. There's new legislation that has been released as well. It's a term that a lot of people are using, but not everyone fully understands. What's your definition of psychosocial safety?
My definition is pretty much, look, they talk about psychological safety, mental health, and psychosocial. I just think it's just mental health and emotional well-being in the workplace. And that can be on the design of our workplace, the environment, the equipment we use, and the interactions we have. All of that is your psychosocial safety. And look, I do a lot of training in this area, and people get hung up on what's the difference. Look, I don't have a problem with people when they say mental health. People say, "Oh, shouldn't you say mental ill health, David?" And I say, "Well, we all know what we're talking about." And I think that's the key. Once you start talking about it and normalizing it, that has reduced the stigma. Another interesting one where we're talking about, though, is, we're trying to normalize this, but everyone has to be involved in it. So that means that you have what Tim Clark talks about, 4 main areas. Inclusion safety. People need to feel that they belong. We don't have to be best buddies with everyone, but as long as I kind of know what I sort of am involved in, whether it's my department, my bigger team, a couple of buddies, that's okay. Learner safety. It's okay to make mistakes. Every organisation says, "Oh, no, we love mistakes." And I often ask, "Well, really, do you?" If I say, my ultimate test is this. If you see an individual go into a manager's office, do you all secretly sit there and go, "Ooh, Mick's in trouble"? Or do you just think that would be a normal interaction? That's the test. That's when you'll know whether you're successful or not. Then you get contributor safety. And I love the message that John Buchanan, a former Australian cricket coach, said. Basically just said, "Look, to get a good team, all I've got to look is to the left and the right of me, and I go, is that person going to do their role to the best of their ability and do what I expect them to do? And if everyone does that, we'll be all okay." But if I'm sitting there going, "Oh gosh, I've got to work with Mick again," or he goes, "Oh, David, I'll have to double check everything David does," we don't have contributor safety. We're actually starting to worry about that. And then our final bit is challenger safety. And that is, do you allow me to put my hand up and go, "Wrong way, go back"? Everyone talks about it, but I say, ultimately, if you're struggling with that, just flip it a bit. We all dislike the person who's the naysayer and's always got something wrong. But if you were in a meeting and you said, "Hey, Mick, we're going to do this project, and I want you to find as many things like the bear traps or stuff that's going to get us. Imagine that when Mick comes up with 10, good on you, Mick, versus Mick's in there just going, oh, here we go again, that won't work. Of course, people get upset with that. But you get those 4 things, you'll get psychosocial safety. And it's not linear. It's not linear. You get them in all different areas. Some things are more important than others at different times. So, yeah.